Hello. One morning, I was seeing one lady, a 35 years old lady in her mid-30s, approached me and started telling me her story. She had a picture perfect life. Her profession was going well, her life was going well, and still she was experiencing depression. We all know how depression is, and so she was feeling low, she was crying, she was having all negative thoughts. But she told me that I am having all these symptoms for 2 long years. And my next question was, why did not you approach for help if these symptoms are there for 2 long years? Her answer astonished me. An educated person told me that she was extremely ashamed of her mental health issue. It made me think about this concept of shame. She prolonged seeking help for 2 long years, not because she was not aware of her mental health issue, but because of the shame attached to it. Is it only her issue? No, it is everybody's issue. Though we all are aware that mental health is everybody's business. There is no health without mental health. But still, do we talk about mental health? No. We are ashamed of talking about our own mental health issues and mental health as such as a concept as well. What are we afraid of? We are afraid of being judged, being ridiculed by other people, and being labeled as weak people. Why this happens? This happens because of our flawed definition of what is strong, what is masculine, what is feminine, and how a human being needs to be in order to be physically and mentally fit. These definitions are given to us by society, and this process begins from childhood. My dear friends, our mind is not a problem. The problem is how we judge our mind. So we need to focus on how we judge our mind if we want to reduce this shame attached with talking about mental health. Mind is an organ. Though we don't see it, it is very much there, and it is rather the core of our psychological as well as our physical existence. Like any other body organ who may need rest, rejuvenation, healing, our mind also needs rest, rejuvenation, healing. Our mind may also experience fatigue, it may also experience shutdown. We are comfortable talking about our bodily issues, but do we talk about our mindly issues? No, because of, again, the shame attached to it. We hide our emotional pain. We choose to live with our emotional pain for years together because we are afraid that we will be judged. Shame, judgment, fear are the factors which prolongs, which stops our mental health recovery journey. What could be done about it? Like I said, I encounter this factor, but this factor is prevalent right from beginning, and yes, there are answers. The answer to this particular question is conversation. Is this an individual issue so that we have individual conversation? No. This issue is everywhere. A person who is upset, like this lady is upset, her family is also going to be upset because of her upsetness. Her work is going to get disturbed because of her depression. She is going to experience societal difficulties as well, and thus if we want to work on mental health, we need to work at all these levels. Mental health is not an individual issue, it is a very much community level issue. And so, if these conversations are to be started, they should start as early as possible. We all need to understand that stress, trauma, work-life balance, work and life balance, these are all real mental health issues. These are not fancy terms. And so these conversations are very important in all aspects of life. Now, where we can start this conversation? It is good idea to start conversation as early as possible. The conversations need to start at school level. How will that be helpful? At school level, the children are forming ideas about what is normal, what is not normal, what is acceptable, what is socially acceptable, and that is the right time to give them very good idea about how mental health is an integral part of our existence. They will definitely develop very healthy definitions about what is mental health. Mental health conversations are normalized if they start at school level, because from school, child's personality starts inculcating, learning values and ideas. Then it will also help them to normalize this conversation, and so we have to start early. We have to stop the shame before it starts forming. So conversations at school in form of stress management workshops, body shaming issues, how to handle them, communication styles, communication difficulties, how to overcome experiences of anxiety, how to identify if you need psychological help. All these issues needs to be exposed during our school days itself. Does it stop there? No. Do we need conversation at our dining table? Definitely we do. How does that help? That helps us to be on the same page when it comes to our family understanding, our family approach towards our mental health. People keep on prolonging taking help, not because they are not aware, but because they are afraid, and thus starting this conversation at our dining table, at boardrooms, at school, colleges, communities is very important. How can conversations help us to reduce the shame associated with mental health, the stigma associated with mental health? Conversations can redefine what is mental health. And like I said, the shame part, the judgment part will be definitely reduced. Conversations can build support. When a conversation happens in workplace, people understand this is not only individual issue. People understand we all have a role to play in this, and thus they built a support system. We work with corporate houses, we work with schools and other institutions where we see that they learn how to give emotional first aid. We all are very much aware of physical first aid, but are we aware of emotional first aid? No. Do we know how to talk to a person when he is distressed? No. So all this can happen when we have this conversation at workplace, and definitely at community level also. When we talk about mental health at community level, we become empathetic. That helps us to build empathy, that helps us to reduce judgment, and that helps us to create a respectable place for people with mental health issues in society. So conversations can change our definition, it can reduce this stigma. After all, mental health issues are not character faults. They are not weaknesses. They are not personal failures. And to change this, conversations will definitely be a tool which will bring in this change. Conversation can help us to have support groups in community where people can approach very easily, talk about their issues and seek help whenever it is necessary. Conversations can also support organizations to be more healthier. We know by statistics that mental health toll is great. Mental health toll leads to different problems from absenteeism to less productivity to conflicts. What is the answer? The answer is to have a very open conversation about it. When we will have all these conversations at home, at dining table, at our schools, colleges, our boardrooms, what will happen? We will build strength. Do you think the lady who suffered silently for 2 long years have not wasted her 2 years? Very precious 2 years in her youth, just because of shame. That is something, the human cost, the institutional cost of mental health could definitely be avoided if we will have these conversations. When we reduce the shame, when we start this conversation, we develop strength. The strength for dignified and meaningful life. We develop strength to ask for help, seek help, and mainstream people having mental health issues with dignity. And that, my dear friend, is very, very important aspect. It all has to happen with dignity, because we all as a human being have right to happiness, dignity, and right to lead a meaningful life. We need to do these conversations on everyday basis so that we as a community, as a society, as a nation travel from shame to strength and build a happy, healthy community and society. Thank you very much.